Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everybody. I'm Evan James, and today we're going to be looking at the severe weather risk for December 29th, 2021, aka day 2. We're going to be looking at many parameters, and this is going to be the main focus of the video. Tomorrow we can do the high temperatures and the precipitation forecast. Today I just want to go ahead and get this out and kind of rush the urgency that the fact that people need to prepare across portions of Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, maybe even parts of Arkansas for what could be a tornado outbreak. If you guys go on to enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and turn on post notifications if you were informed. That way you are informed when I upload a new video. With all being said, now let's get into it. So according to the GEFS model here, or sorry, the GFS model, we're actually going to go to the time frame here. And as you guys can see, that moisture return is going to be kind of ample here across portions of Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas around 18Z Wednesday, with that threat kind of peaking around 0Z on Thursday. And you guys can see that moisture will be in place for that severe weather. We got much more interesting weather to talk about once we get beyond the severe weather, but that is our focus today. Now taking a look at the supercell composite here for the GFS model, and if you're not familiar with what the supercell composite is basically you take the 500 millibar wind and the 850 millibar wind, the CAPE, the SRH, and you kind of do a calculation to find out the chances of a supercell developing across portions of the selected area. So as you guys can see, according to the GFS model here, the threat likes to peak over portions of Mississippi, north central Alabama, and really start to peak here across portions of southern Alabama as we get on later into Thursday. But for right now, my focus is going to be at this time frame here around 0Z, 21Z Wednesday. If we take a look at some soundings here provided by COD Meteorology, portions of northern Alabama. I don't really use the GFS as a parameter viewing system here, but it's just noted to see this HODO here kind of supporting the tornadoes. The veering is okay. The CAPE is all right. Not a lot of capping to be expected in place. Some decent shear is all right, and the kinematics seem to be good. But we're going to take a look at more models than just the GFS. Let's actually move on to the new HRRR run that was taken. I believe it's the 12Z. Are we in range? I do not believe we are in range. I'm going to go look at the 060 here. So this is the HRRR model. It is known as the High Resolution Rapid Refresh. It is typically used in closer time frames to the severe weather threat. So the closer we are, the more accurate it is. But we're going to be using the 060 piece of data here to kind of go over the extended outlook on things. So as we get on into around, let's see, 15, 16Z, Wednesday, you can see that supercells are beginning to fire up according to the HRRR model here, with most cases kind of in portions of Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama. And one thing that will change is as we go on, those supercells will become widespread in coverage, and this is your severe weather threat here with some really decent supercell activity in portions of east central Mississippi and especially north central Alabama as we get on into 3Z Thursday. One thing we can look at is we can try to see if the 11Z is in range. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not. So long story short, what the HRRR is painting here as supercells, especially higher in coverage here across portions of northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, and northwestern Georgia, and southern Tennessee as well. Now getting into the NAM model side of things here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the simulated reflectivity. And as we go on through the day here, kind of not really signaling too much as far as moisture return goes, maybe some signals of some possible supercells here existing across the state 06Z Thursday. Not really anything else in time. In my own opinion, the moisture returns on this is really underdone. As you guys can see, those arrows indicating that we are going to be getting Gulf moisture pulled up from the south here and get that instability really starting to rise across portions of the deep south during that ample time. So one model we actually will take a look at is the NAM Nest, and that is going to highlight some really good supercell development here across portions of northern Alabama here. It might be a little bit delayed on the NAM Nest, but you can definitely see the signal is there for some possible supercell development as you get into early Thursday as well. And the last model we're going to be taking a look at is the RAP model, and then after this we're going to read the SPC outlook and I'll kind of give my 2 cents on things. So as we go through the day on Wednesday and get towards closer on Thursday, then that is when we really start to see the threat increase for some significant tornadoes here. We're going to pull a sounding here from south central Alabama. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is actually a really good sounding. I mean, it's bad for residents here in case there's any moisture return, because that is definitely a hodograph signaling a type of tornado as indicated by the hazard type here. The Cape is really nice at 1,200 joules per kilogram, and the overall sounding and SKU-T, everything checks out pretty well. The wind profile is pretty decent with winds kind of backing off there. And according to the effective layer STP, they're based on, I mean, most of the parameters here are definitely signaling EF2 plus potential, but I do think EF1 plus is going to be the main type of threat we're going to get here, maybe EF1 to EF3, but especially as that threat kind of peaks here in portions of northern Alabama, we're definitely going to have some interesting HODOs and definitely some interesting ones here across portions of southern Mississippi as well. We'll pull a sounding from there. This HODO in northern Alabama shows about kind of the same story here. Backed winds right here, definitely a signal of some rotation. There, the storm slinky is pretty well rounded, and the hodograph is looking pretty decent with that trapezoidal-like shape. And for south central Mississippi during the day there, or sorry, heading into the night though, during the day on the severe weather threat, that is definitely still showing some pretty decent tornado potential with the wind profile relatively nice. A lot of cape in place, not a lot of capping. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you are residents in portions of north central Alabama or even central Alabama, you know, maybe southeastern Mississippi towards central Alabama, I mean, you really, really have to watch the threat here, even in portions of Arkansas and Louisiana, as that the storm line kind of initiates here. I mean, if you live anywhere in this circled region, now is the time to prepare for some possible significant severe impacts across your area. Now, without a further ado, let's take a look at the SPC outlook. And as you guys can see here, the SPC has released a Day 2 slight risk for portions of Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham, Jackson, and Huntsville. That includes the states of Alabama, Mississippi, eastern Louisiana, extreme northeastern Louisiana, I should say, eastern Arkansas, and portions of Tennessee as well. So a pretty big slight risk here with potential to kind of fit that enhanced in, which we'll get into in a moment, across portions of Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. They did go with a 5% tornado risk, 15% wind risk, and 15% hail risk there for portions of those states. So the synopsis is: a mid-level shortwave trough can be seen off the Oregon coast early Tuesday morning. The shortwave trough will round off the base of the large-scale trough to near the southern high plains by 12Z Wednesday. This will overspread weak height falls across the warm sector during the day Wednesday. Meanwhile, a lee cyclone is expected to develop near the Oklahoma Panhandle Thursday morning and move quickly eastward across the surface front through the day. Guidance has come into better agreement, showing a close surface low developing along the front, but there's still remains some uncertainty in the exact location and strength of the surface low. So for portions of the Mid-South and Tennessee Valley, long-fetch Caribbean moisture feed will be in place across the southeast with mid-60 dew points into southern Tennessee. Low-level flow will strengthen in response to the developing surface low along the front. This will affect higher theta E northward with mid-60 dew points into north-central Tennessee, and upper 60 dew points into portions of northern Mississippi and Alabama. Some breaks in the clouds are anticipated as the region low cloud streaks effect across the warm sector, which may allow temperatures to warm into the upper 70s. As a result, ample instability is anticipated across the warm sector, with MLK in excess of 1,500 joules per kilogram. Long story short here, they are kind of considering a 10% TOR SIG possibility to show more intense development here. But an upgrade to enhanced may be necessary if CAM guidance starts to show more intense storm development right there. Alright everybody, if you live in the whole entire slight risk or even the marginal risk, be on the lookout, stay tuned. I'm going to keep you guys all up to date as we get closer and closer to this event. I'm Evan James, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.